Welcome back. Last week, Mike Pence, Vice President, addressed the attendees at the March for Life anti-abortion rally in Washington, D.C. Until last week, no president or vice president has addressed this movement in person. Colin, do you think our leaders should be involved in a movement like this to talk about abortion, pro or con?
The reality is, I think that they are going to do it on a campaign trail. I really don't see what difference it makes. Interestingly enough, and I just for the sake of comparison, I believe, although I'm sure the administration will probably disagree with me, that the crowd there was quite a bit smaller than the Women's March that occurred before that. Of course, you know,
not according to what the press secretary said. That was bigger.
But were their costumes as interesting?
No, I imagine not. Mostly because the vast majority of folks you see show up to that particular march are wearing long denim skirts and long sleeve blouses. Of course, it's winter, so.
So here's my point. Number one, I don't think he should have showed up there. I have no problem with knowing where our elected officials stand on these issues. I'm not sure that I think it was a good idea for him to become involved in that particular event. I think that is taking it a little further than what I am comfortable with. But that's just my personal
Colin, I kind of took you a little off your train of thought there. What was your real feeling on whether the vice president should have done that or not?
I agree with Jim in that I personally don't think he should have been there. Do I think it really makes a difference in the long term?
That's what I heard you
I really
say.
don't think so. Because honestly, people know where he stands.
Yeah, I mean, this
I
is
think
a
it's
blip.
like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Nah.
I mean, you've already got people upset with the current administration, and now the vice president's going to go out there, and he's going to make a stand with a conservative cause when you've already got liberals upset with the current administration.
You know, there's a difference in my mind, and I don't want to get pigeonholed on the abortion issue. I know that's what this is about, but it's more about where our politicians should be and not be. But I personally am pro-life. I would not advise or I would advise my wife against having an abortion in that respect. So for me, it's pro-life. But I don't know that I feel like I can dictate that theory to everybody else on the planet.
Welcome to the Libertarian Party, sir.
Yeah. Do you have the right to put that on his wife, my wife, or Ken's wife?
Or Ken, for that matter?
Yeah. Do you have that right then?
Yeah.
Or shouldn't your wife and you have that opinion?
Yes, we should.
It shouldn't be.
Now the question becomes, the more difficult question is, when does life begin? And that is the $64,000 question.
But that's up to you and your wife when it begins.
No, I don't think that's the case. But
well, who should it be?
Well, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know that I
Congress?
have those answers. But
you don't want Congress.
That is the question.
It comes back to the state. Shouldn't it come back to the bedroom to the household?
My point is that I am pro-life. I don't know that I feel like I can push my pro-life on
Colin, or
others.
Well, and I think that's a very reasonable, and although I have always described myself as being pro-choice, personally I would not make that choice either. Yeah. I think what the definition there becomes, however, is, do you believe that you should enforce that? Do you believe you should enforce that on everybody else? I personally don't. Neither, by the way, do I believe that abortion should be a method of birth control. Amen. So I think that, but that oftentimes becomes we have to be very careful, and I think this is a discussion that's been going on for 40 years. This is a discussion that's going to go on for a lot longer after this. And we're still trying to figure out exactly where as a country we sit. We have certain precedents. We have to remember that before Roe v. Wade, horrible things happened. People were doing unsafe things. Women died because they're, whether we legislate against it or not, people are going to do this. Things happen in life.
They are. And let the truth be told, though, with this latest appointment to the bench, assuming that appointment goes through, and assuming that he has at least one more potential appointments over the next 4 years, Roe v. Wade could change.
Well, let me ask you this, because I didn't see what Vice President Pence actually said. Did he actually come out and say that he is against abortions, or did he just say he's against taxpayer-funded abortions?
Well, he definitely made it clear that he's against taxpayer-funded abortions.
Right.
I get that.
Now,
but
see,
I think the underlying message was he's against abortion
And Planned Parenthood and anything to do with family-type planning.
Well, and I think that's the other 300-pound or 600-pound
Right.
or 800-pound whatever gorilla in the room. This is a veiled attack, I think, on women's services generally.
I don't believe that.
I do.
Well,
no, I don't believe
should
that.
the federal government be paying for women's
No.
services?
Well,
Should they be paying for welfare?
abortions?
Should they be paying
Should
for
they be
Medicare?
paying for welfare? Should they be
Medicaid?
paying for kids that's not wanted, that suddenly you have to take care of them, health insurance, etc.? That's your call.
It's a complicated question. It really is. Yeah, I don't know if there's a good answer.
You got the last part of that question, brother. Up next, our panel singles out this week's winners and losers. Stay tuned.